And welcome back, everyone, to the Quirk Creation series. As I mentioned with the Digimon Partner series, as of this month, this series and the Digimon Partner are going to be going on a bit of a hiatus. They are just, it really all just comes down to taking a little bit off my plate, and B, these series have never quite been the catches I would want them to be, or the algorithm expects them to be, or whatever. People who like these series, particularly the Digimon one, but I think it's just time for me to kind of put them on the shelf. Now, that doesn't mean they're gone forever. Maybe around the first of the year, I'll bring them back after I kind of just refresh my batteries on it a little bit. But as it stands right now, this will be the last month I'm doing either series for the foreseeable future, at least till the end of the year. But that's still like 3 months, so I'm sorry if that makes you disappointed. Don't worry, though. There's still a whole month coming for both of those series. Speaking of which, from Miguel, I believe it was Miguel S. You asked the question, what is Brian Griffin's quirk? And this one is a surprisingly easy one to figure out for me, because we do know animals can have quirks in My Hero Academia. Principal Nezu, for example, has a quirk called, I believe, High Specs, which gives him above average human intelligence. This is something that I think we can basically parlay into Brian's quirk, except instead of high specs, we got beer goggles. Why is it beer goggles? Well, what the quirk does is it, again, gives him relative human intelligence. Obviously, Brian is smarter than, say, he's a little above average, but not really. Okay, what really hinders Brian in terms of his intelligence is all of his vices. That's what really does it, and his ego wanting him to seem important when he really isn't that important, sadly for him. So, because of that, I would say it doesn't make him anywhere near as smart as Nezu. It just makes him round average, a little above. However, and this is very important, the difference between Nezu's quirk and Brian's quirk is that Nezu doesn't really need to ingest anything, to take anything, doesn't need to do any drugs or substances or eat anything to maintain his intelligence. That's just the way his quirk works. Brian does, and hence the beer goggles. See, Brian needs to be consuming a not significant, but a near constant amount of alcohol per day to maintain the level of intelligence he has. Now, hypothetically, if he drank an entire keg of beer, would that increase his intelligence? Sure, but it will also make him shit-faced and probably kill him from alcohol poisoning. So there's a trade-off there. In essence, Brian can go about 12 hours without drinking before his intelligence starts to dip. And I say 12 hours because 8 hours is the general amount of time we need to sleep. And this would also explain why Brian's never as peak mental capacity, because Brian is someone who probably would sleep in a lot of the time. So I'll actually even backtrack. I'll say even 10 hours without drinking starts to diminish his intelligence about, let's say, an IQ point per 15 minutes, which doesn't sound like much, but if he's sleeping in, it's past 10, if he's like somehow been passed out for 12 hours, well, then he's already lost 8 points off his IQ. And if his IQ is only above, maybe slightly above the average human, which I believe average human IQ, I'm not actually sure what the answer to that is. Because I know, like, anything below, I want to say 60 is like legally retarded. Even like 70 is like technically below, like legally mentally retarded. But average, there we go. Average human IQ. What is the average human IQ? The average IQ score on most standard intelligence tests is around 100, with most scores ranging between 85 and 115. The average is used as a benchmark to compare individual scores to normative scores. However, the average IQ can vary between countries and states. For example, in 2022, the average IQ in the United States is 98, while males averaging 99 and females averaging 97. And that's from state to state to state to state, so forth and so on. So it can vary, but the average seems, let's just say 100. I say, well, let's put Brian on the high side of average and make him around 110. Not the full 115, but 110, which I think is fine. That means the way we've designed this quirk is by the time he wakes up after, say, a drinking binge, he would be down 8 IQ points minimum, seeing as I gave him now the 10-hour limitation for every 15 minutes. Or you could even go even further. If I did like every 10 minutes instead, well, now it actually, in fact, that actually makes a lot more sense. That he has to drink at least semi-constantly, which would explain why Brian has a drinking problem. That was the whole idea behind this, is why he has a drinking problem. He's constantly staving off regressing back into an actual animal. And in theory, if he continued to drink past his limitations, he could in fact get smarter, but that's the problem. For Brian to be able to do that in this context, he would actually have to be downing a lot of alcohol very quickly, and I think that boost of alcohol does increase his intelligence to true genius level stats. The problem is he's going to quickly get alcohol poisoning and possibly kill his liver or just die. So it is a really good trade-off with that. Now, would Brian even be a hero at all? No, I think he would be some sort of teacher or something like that. Like, I can be a hero. Look, I'm Super Brian. Hey, I'm Professor Comedy. Brian was the worst one. Like, he tried and failed to be a hero, so now he's just a teacher. And he's getting a legitimate note from his doctor on why he has to drink while he's drinking in class. And that would also be the thing, too. Provided he's not at his, already his normal level, I think one little boost we can give is that he does have a higher than average alcohol tolerance. He can drink during the day and, he can have like a flask, drink it within an hour, and be only slightly buzzed. Like, he'd actually still be good enough to drive. He'd still have alcohol in his breath and in his bloodstream, but he'd be relatively fine. But that's just a flask. And like I said, for him to be able to go past his base intelligence, he does have to drink an excessive. He would have to get like a pitcher of beer and down it fast. And there's physical limitations. His body has to do that. And they're like literally physical limitations for the liquid he contained in his stomach. And then the biologically physical limitations his body would have. The biological limitations his body has, like the amount of alcohol his body can process in one go. But yes, in theory, or he's got just grain alcohol, like Everclear on tap. Like if he actually has to think real quick, he even says, "All right, I'm gonna be shit faced in less than 2 minutes, so I'm gonna make this quick and just go. Okay, let's do this. Okay, do this. Oh shit! Like, he would only have a minute or two to be able to actually help someone in that scenario, which is why his quirk. He realized, I'm no good as a hero. Let me be a teacher instead. And I can even see him using like little shots of Everclear to kind of bump his intelligence up. Like, the amount of alcohol would obviously determine how smart he gets, but little boost to just get his intelligence up enough to actually teach his class effectively when they're kind of bringing him stuff he doesn't know. Because Brian is one of those characters that is nowhere near as smart as he thinks he is. And I think that would work out pretty well. So that is the quirk for Brian Griffin. Beer goggles, as I put it. Let me know what you think of this quirk. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Do you think it? I think it works really well for the Brian Griffin character, actually. But let me know in the comments below what you think. Thanks for watching, though. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.